Rev it up and welcome to Cars Yeah, show number 2514. Be prepared to be inspired.
This is Cars Yeah, where you'll enjoy interviews with inspiring automotive enthusiasts. Mark Green is here to provide you with a fuel injection of automotive inspiration. So get in, sit down, buckle up, and get ready for a wild ride here on Cars Yeah.
Today I'm in Gladwin, Pennsylvania with a very special guest by the name of Joey Benjamini. Joey, welcome to Cars Yeah. Do you have any gear? And are you ready to release the clutch?
I am, Mark, yes.
All right, we're going to have some fun today. Now, before we begin, and we learn more about your business because you are doing something very cool, what is one little thing that people may not know about you?
I thought I wanted to be a doctor growing up. That was my goal and aspiration up until I became a car dealer.
Now, those are two very different things. A doctor, now, was that more driven by the parents wanting you to be a doctor, which a lot of parents obviously want their kids to do something that has a lot of prestige involved? Or what made you change your mind?
What made me change my mind? Didn't really change my mind. Never made a decision. It just happened. I feel like kind of getting into the car industry, it kind of takes you by itself. It doesn't really ask you if you want to be a car dealer. So I wanted to be a neurosurgeon. I went to school for it. I went to UPenn undergrad.
Wow.
Studied econ and neurochemistry, and I stopped doing the neurochemistry and just did the econ, graduated in 3 years, and then I became a car dealer.
I can't tell you how many people I've had on the show that are in the automotive business, buying, selling cars, whether collectible, new cars, manufacturing cars, whatever, that have said the same thing. It just kind of reaches out and grabs you if you have that passion, right?
Yeah, it doesn't ask you if you want to be it. You know what I mean? No one grows up saying that. Most people that I know didn't grow up saying they wanted to be car dealers, but both my parents were doctors, and they were less than thrilled initially, but they came around, and now my little brother's a car dealer also. They had bigger hopes for him.
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you something funny, Joey. I have a very good friend I've known for 30 plus years. We race finished cars together. He's a neurosurgeon, a pediatric neurosurgeon, still practicing, and he's 72 now, I think, and has an incredible collection of cars. And when I met him, he used to come and hang out with me on Thursday nights. I call Boys Night Out. We'd kind of get together, play with cars and stuff. And one night he said something, and the reason I'm sharing this story is he is what led me in a way to doing this podcast. He said, I wish I was doing for a living what you do. And at the time I was part of Griot's Garage, a e-commerce business and a catalog business. We sold car products. My whole world was car products. And I looked at him and I said, Bill, my gosh, you're a brain surgeon. You save people's lives. And he's a very dry humor guy. And he goes, well, sometimes. And, I kind of chuckled, and he said, no, he goes, look, what I do, yeah, I get it. I'm very good at it. I love it. But you get to do stuff around your passion for cars. And that's my real passion, is cars. And that always stuck with me. And so when I started this podcast, I thought about Bill, and that's why we're all about inspiring automotive enthusiasts, which you are one. You're a guy who fits my mantra perfectly. So very happy to have you here today. Very cool.
I'm excited to be here, and I appreciate you having me here today.
Absolutely. Well, let me give you a more proper introduction. Joey Benjamini is the founder and CEO of Collectible Classics, North America's largest volume seller of classic sport cars on platforms including Bring a Trailer, Cars and Bids, and PCarMarket, to name a few. Joey is a 2021 graduate of the University of Pennsylvania, as he said, with a degree in economics and maybe medicine. And he launched Collectible Classics.
Never got there.
Well, but he wanted to. He could have been, but he's doing something much more passionate today. Economics, and he launched Collectible Classics the same year, aiming to transform the classic car auction industry, which he has done. Today, the company conducts over 2,000 auctions annually and boasts more than 100,000 square feet of indoor classic car storage and retail space. Collectible Classics has set itself apart from traditional auction houses like Mecum and Barrett Jackson by leveraging modern online platforms and focusing on customer service and, of course, care. The company holds a 4.9-star Google rating thanks to its innovative strategies, from seamless transactions and commitment to transparency, which has positioned Collectible Classics as a trusted leader in the industry. Very cool. We'll be back in just a moment, Joey, but first a word from our sponsors, so give them a little love, and we'll be right back. Buckle up. Are you ready to take charge of your financial future? Then let me introduce you to Capitalize Your Finances. It's an online course designed to empower you with the knowledge and tools for mastering your money. This course will help you lay out the ins and outs of budgeting, the importance of emergency funds, investing strategies, and how to plan for a secure retirement. All this presented by financial planner Chris Paniotu. Chris has developed this course to help you effectively navigate your world of finance with confidence. Stop stressing about money and start taking control. Enroll in Capitalize Your Finance online course today and pave your way to financial success. To learn more, go to capitalizepodcast.com/courses, or better yet, go to the Cars Yeah website, show notes page for today's show, and click on the link under Capitalize Your Finances. You'll be glad you did. Do it today. For several years now, you've heard me talk about Linkage Magazine. I've been a subscriber since the start. Their talented and creative team brings you a spectacular publication and website that shares the automotive passion from a worldwide perspective. Linkage is about driving, restoring, collecting, and firsthand experience at collector car auctions and more. They bring you real-world values plus rational, experienced opinions on the current markets. They cover the automotive world and the people who share our passions. And Linkage Magazine has grown, mailing you 6 issues annually. Join me on this journey with Linkage. They're geared for the automotive life. You can subscribe at linkagemag.com. TechForce is a charity of choice here at Cars Yeah. Auto techs are in high demand, but the supply, it's critically short. For every one tech who graduates school, there's 5 jobs waiting for them. Said another way, 4 technician jobs go unfilled for every technician graduate. Lots of young people love cars, but don't know how to turn that passion into their careers. TechForce Foundation shows them through career exploration, technical education, and the workforce development solutions. Join Cars Yeah in supporting TechForce Foundation and its mission to solve the technician shortage by donating at techforce.org today. So Joey, we are back. So you're in school, you're thinking you want to be a neurosurgeon, and all of a sudden you say, you know what, I love cars. So very quick, I mean, you graduated college in 3 years, so you're a very bright individual, and you started this collectible car deal. I want to know a little bit more about what was the drive for it, and also how did you look at it so that you could tackle it in a different way than other people are doing, because there's lots of people out there selling classic cars that has ended up setting you apart. Like, what was the process in your mind to get you where you are today?
Respond to this, but I'm going to respond to it in the wrong order of your question. So maybe you want to cut this.
No. You do whatever you want. It's your show.
Fair enough. I really feel like I got into the car industry because of another person. So Andrew Glazer, who runs Vantage Auto, really got me into the car industry. He got me going. He showed me the ropes. Learned from him what was good. Learned from him how to do it. We worked together to build his business. And once I did it for him, did it with him, I was like, listen, I can do this myself, but I can do it better. So those were my thoughts. That's kind of how I got into it. And it just happened by accident. I was just buying cars.
Yeah. Well, in a way, then you answer my next question maybe a little bit, because I always ask people about inspirational people or mentors. So let's go back and talk a little bit about, not so much about his business, but what it was about what he was doing that you went, I want to do that, but I think I can do it better.
Yeah, he was high-paced, energetic. He was running a wholesale business where he bought direct from consumer. He bought anywhere he could buy from other dealers. He bought trade-ins in bulk, and he would run them at wholesale at auctions like Mannheim or ACV. And I kind of saw that process he was doing, and I was like, why buy from dealers when you could buy from the public? Because there's way better cars. The stuff that's on dealers' lots, the public sold to the dealers because they didn't want to sell them themselves. So he was really energetic, passionate about what he was doing. And I was like, there was a better way to do it, which is just what I'd been doing, because I had no access to dealer lots or Mannheim or ACV, right? I was buying cars from people's houses day to day. It was the only way to do it, you know?
Have you always had a passion for old cars?
I think I got into cars by accident when I was 16. I bought a car. It was a project, far more of a project than I had bargained for. People advised me not to buy a used car. And I was like, I'm going to do it anyway. And it was and I fixed it, and it was that's how you get into it. You know, you buy something, it's a headache, and you get knee deep into it, and you're like, wow, I really love doing this. This is really fulfilling. This is success. You put it together, you do it yourself, you build it yourself, you fix it yourself, and you feel like you've accomplished something. So I feel like that's a great way to get into the car space.
Well, in the last couple of years, you've sold several thousand classic cars with over 2,000 auctions, but you're doing it. Are all the cars that you sell done through other online sources? Like, we'll pick the King of Kings, Bring a Trailer.
Bring a Trailer, yeah.
Randy's been on the show 3 times. And so I think everybody in the car world, collectible car world, knows Bring a Trailer. I mean, they send you that eye candy every morning that eats up half your morning looking at stuff you never knew you wanted. Brilliant, right?
Mm-hmm.
Were you, because I'm seeing more and more people doing that, because I think they're realizing I can never reach the number of eyeballs that these platforms can reach.
It's more than just that. It's really about making the process seamless and transparent, which is what they've allowed it to do. It's not about the number of people particularly who are there. There's lots of people on Facebook Marketplace. There's lots of people on Craigslist. There's tons of people on Cars.com and AutoTrader. Mm-hmm. But it's about the transparency and the customer experience that platform provides. So when you're buying on Bring a Trailer or when you're selling on Bring a Trailer, you get 300 photos, you get a cold start, you get a walk around, you get a driving video, you get underbody photos on a lift, you get a top operation, you get a suspension operation, you get window operations, you get headlight operations on cars. People are like, the amount of info and the data, like the raw data you can give a customer about a vehicle is unparalleled. There's just not another platform. Even there's no dealerships who can convey that much information through their website. So selling on Bring a Trailer or any of these other sites, the reason Bring a Trailer has the largest audience is not because they were the first to market. It's because they make that process the best by a long shot. I've sold on other platforms, many other platforms, and there isn't another platform that gives that much raw data to the consumer to digest, process, and make a decision. And the amount of data that the consumer gets is directly correlated to the sale price. So the same way you had your successful experience on Bring a Trailer where you sold your vehicle, it wasn't just about the number of people who saw it. You could have had more people see it if you posted on AutoTrader for 2 years. It's about the amount of knowledge, the amount of info, and the amount of data you gave that consumer when they were jumping in to look at your car. And just in a matter of 7 days, someone can feel like they actually know a car inside and out. So confidence. That's why I choose to sell on platforms like that. Yeah, it inspires confidence, and that directly leads to sale prices. So literally the only way I sell cars
is through that.
95%, let's say, maybe 5% retail. And that's only because people make me, not because I even want to do it.
Would you agree that another huge benefit there, along with everything you noted, is the conversation that's happening during the auction? There's so many things that I have learned by reading other people's comments, good and bad. You know, sometimes people pipe in and I would think if you're selling the car, you go, oh no, they noticed that. But the other part of it is you learn so much about these vehicles and realize, oh, one little thing of that, if it's an old collectible that is Concours level car, those screws aren't right in the engine bay. Okay, does that mean maybe something else isn't right? They keep people honest, and that helps the buyer and the seller, really, because then you are deemed somebody that's doing something credible. Because, buying a car can be nerve-wracking, especially from a distance when you can't go see it. But I think it gives the people, all those comments give you an immense amount of knowledge. Do you agree?
More than that, they give you a sense of community. They feel like, hey, like these people have my back. There are other people looking at this purchase. They're pre-qualifying it for me. It's almost like 1,000 people do a pre-purchase inspection for you for free. It's nuts. Yeah. It's nuts, the stuff they point out. I'm talking about stuff that I wouldn't even have known if I had studied the car for like weeks. I'm talking about, like, I'll have people comment on cars and they'll go, by the way, your passenger side headlight has been replaced. I'm like, how on earth would you know that? I'm like, that's nuts. Yeah. Because I had no idea. So it takes it to a whole nother level, the comment experience. And I think we love to have action in our comments. Like at Collectible Classics, we focus on making sure that every single question, comment, and response goes answered. And they have a very transparent, straightforward, data-driven answer. It works. Yeah, that's half of the secret sauce. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's absolutely wonderful. And it obviously reflects on your 4.9 star Google rating, which is absolutely excellent. So, that gives people another sense.
It's beyond that. So to get a strong rating, and I think the review system is a little bit messed up. The reason why I think review system is a little bit messed up is because it's not harsh enough. I don't think ratings are harsh enough because when you give someone 4 stars, if I got 4 stars on a test and I got a 4-star out of 5-star, that would be an 80% review.
Yeah.
And if I looked at and people who have 4-star reviews, people are like, wow, they're doing really great stuff. And I'm like, they're doing absolutely horrible, because if you have a 4-star review, that means 10% of people thought you were 1 star. I would never, ever buy a car from someone who had a 4-star rating on. I look on people's reviews and it's just not harsh enough because it's just so favorable to the seller, those reviews.
Good point.
Because the way they're scaled, it's crazy. So yeah, beyond that, what it comes down to when you're getting reviews and just making sure your reviews stay where they should be, which is like 100%. 4.9 is, I think we have one review that's less than 4 stars. And I made it right anyways, and the customer didn't go back and correct it. But
of course
selling cars and selling the volume of cars we do, selling 3,000 cars in 2 years or a year or whatever it is, thousands of cars, there's going to be cars that have problems. What it comes down to and what makes a seller a better seller versus the next dealer, presumably everyone has somewhat similar inventory. Arguably, I think our inventory is far better because of the process that we'll talk about, how we get our inventory. But it's about what you do to that customer, how you treat that customer when they have a problem, because 100% selling 3,000 cars a year, or if you're doing any sort of volume, there's going to be complaints, concerns, and issues. It really comes down to like treating that customer fairly, how you would want to be treated in that situation.
Absolutely. Well, good segue there. How do you get all these cars that you sell?
Okay, this is nuts. This is what I want to tell everyone about. So every single car we buy direct from consumer off of AutoTrader, Cars.com, Facebook Marketplace, Car Gurus, Let Go, OfferUp, word of mouth, advertisement, social media advertisement. Some weeks we buy 30, 40 cars a week, but we're buying 20 cars a week nationwide. So I'm talking about you could be in Nebraska and have a barn in Nebraska in the middle of nowhere without cell reception, and we'll buy your car out of your garage. You just call me, shoot me a text, say, hey, Joey, I want to sell my classic car. I have 10 cars. We'll have money in your account in 30 minutes and we'll have your car picked up from your driveway the next morning. That is the model.
Huge power in that.
Yeah, it's massive. It's the key to buying classic cars and buying classic cars in bulk is making the process easy for everyone involved. It's just making the seller of that car realize you love the car they're selling. You love what they're doing. You're going to take care of that car. And beyond that, you're going to make it a seamless, easy experience for that seller. So that's, I think, the secret to our volume is like, we just focus on high customer satisfaction on that end. So like half of our 5-star reviews are from customers who sold us their cars. People absolutely love selling us their cars. I have people who don't want to sell their cars to anyone but us, even if it means they're leaving $3,000 on the table, because for some customers, leaving $3,000 on the table on a 97 Porsche 911, they rather leave that on the table than deal with some random guy who's going to knock on their door, drive their car up and down their driveway, rip on it, kick the tires, and come back 3 weeks later and waste their time and ask if they can pay in installments. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's how we do it. So we have a team of buyers who are killers. They're all young. So I'm 24, and the rest of our buyers are younger than me. If that makes sense.
You guys are a bunch of kids.
Right?
Wow.
Nuts, right? So
Yeah.
think about a bunch of like teens to 20-year-old guys who absolutely love cars, sitting in a room, scouring Facebook Marketplace, Craigslist, eBay, OfferUp, Let Go, everywhere in the country. Wow. And just telling people, hey, we'll buy your car from your driveway. Sight unseen, we'll pay you. Half the battle is getting them to believe we're actually going to pay them.
Oh, of course. Yeah, I can only imagine. Well, another great segue here into how the market is doing. And I'd love to get your opinion because, you know, as we know, the market, especially the collector car market, up and down. And specifically, if you go back maybe 10, 15 years when muscle cars went crazy, or 30 years ago, Ferraris went crazy and they're all getting shipped to, well, you weren't born yet, but they're all getting shipped to Japan. What's your impression right now of what's going on in the collector car market?
Oh, I think the collector car market, we're talking 2020, 2021, everyone wanted to own a classic car because money was endless and bountiful and anyone could come up with the money they needed to buy a classic car. So you saw inflation in everything, right? Just talking from economics perspective, when there was, during the ZIRP interest rate period, zero interest rate we're talking about, owning a car was a no-brainer, right? Because you had unlimited funds. We've shifted to today, which is like, we had rate cuts just recently, but shifted to today, interest rates are at 6%, 7%. On car loans are at 10%. The cost of capital is way higher. We're arguably in a recession. So there's been a 30% probably, in my eyes, the way I've seen it, is just a 30% decrease in values on cars across the collector car market. And obviously there'll be exceptions where someone sells a car for an insane amount of money, and we'd love to have that happen. Yeah, there's been a 30% decrease, but that's in alignment with everything else, like, right? If you were in the market for a house, the prices surely haven't gone up since 2022. And that's a questionable market in and of itself.
Well, sometimes I say that the used car or the collector car market kind of follows what's going on in housing. If housing is having a tough time, and it's usually because of either supply and demand or interest rates, then same with cars in some respect. But I think I agree with you. That's at least what I am seeing. Especially since I sold my turbo a year and a half ago, 2 years ago. I did it exactly.
Great time to sell. Great time to sell, man.
This was all luck. I'm no genius when it comes to this, but I did it the exact right
that's
month.
called timing the market.
Somehow I pulled it off. Now, if I could have do that with the stock market every day, I'd be a lot wealthier. But that was just pure luck. Just everything kind of aligned. But it's it will change. And what would be your view or your opinion for someone who wants to buy a collectible car? I had I guess you probably know of Bruce Meyer, who's a very high profile West Coast guy that has incredible collection of cars. And he has a saying that you buy the best you can afford and cry only once and don't look back, and never buy a car only because you think it's going to be worth more in the future, especially a new car, because it probably never will be. But what is your opinion about if you were going to advise somebody today, given all the things we're dealing with today with the economy and interest rates and all that, if they have just wanted to buy a collector car, it's their dream, what would be your advice?
Well, as a car dealer, I should tell you buy, right?
Buy, exactly.
Yeah, now's the time. Get the money out.
Now's the time. Yeah, exactly.
I think it's an individual decision. And listen, it's a personal decision. It's when you feel like you're ready to make that, when you're ready to own that and you want to own that. And presumably, if you buy the right car from the right person at the right time, it's the value add, and perhaps you increase your value. But if you're buying a classic car, you should be buying a classic car because you want to own that car. Like, that's something you want to hold on to, at least in my opinion. Especially if you're buying a classic car and you're buying one of them, and you're not buying a collection to move at a wholesale rate, right? If you're buying a car, you buy it because you want that car, and if you're happy with that car, does it really make a difference if you spent $2,700 more because it's 2024 versus $7,000 less? If you know what I mean? Like, who cares? Like, long term, that's my thoughts. Just buy the car you want, and that's it. Just own the car you want to have. People would be much happier if they could figure that out.
Yeah, I think that's true. And don't worry about what it's going to be worth in the future, unless that's your business. And if that's your business, then you'll know. But if it's not, and most of it isn't, buy what you really want. And the last one I always say is buy the absolute best you can find, because like a young kid when you were, and I've done the same thing. I restored a Ghia when I was a kid. It needed some work. It's always more expensive than you think. And it's always more of a pain than you think,
Yeah.
So buy someone else's pain that has already gone through it all. A car that's been properly restored, of course, fully vetted and that forth. And that's another question I'll have for you is, one of the challenges with buying a car, especially nowadays from a long distance, if you can't fly there and look at it, is knowing that you're getting what you are told you're getting. With people buying cars from you, how do you help protect them from the thing showing up on a transporter and you go, that sure doesn't look like the pictures I saw online?
Absolutely love that question. Ask us the questions you have, whatever it is. If you have a question, if you have a concern, voice it. Say, hey, I'm concerned about the air suspension on my early 2000s Benz. And then I'll tell you, this is the status on the air suspension. Like, it's been serviced. How's it working today? Will it be expensive in the future? And just the truth of the matter is, like, ask more questions. Like, whatever your questions are, use them as effective as you can and be straightforward. So I think that's the key. And if you ask us a question, we're going to answer that question honestly and truthfully, because it doesn't behoove us to tell you something that's not accurate, and just get all the data you can get. That's my answer. So if you're buying a car sight unseen, don't buy the car with 6 pictures online on a dealer's website that has 3.8 star reviews, because 3.8 star reviews isn't good. It's very bad. 25% of the customers are unhappy. You know what I mean? Like, you don't want to buy a car sight unseen with a 25% chances of failure.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, just make sure you get all the data. Buy from someone who has given you all the data. And if you get all the data, once in a while you'll draw a bad card, which is fine. Hopefully you buy from the right person who will take care of you if there's a problem. That's what I say is the key, right? So I'll give you an example. I have a crazy example for you. Customer buys a car from us, an S400 hybrid Mercedes-Benz with a hybrid drivetrain. First time and last time I ever buy a hybrid 2000s Benz is what I'm going to tell you.
Yeah.
First and last time. That was it. One time, and I learned my lesson.
Yeah.
So customer buys the S400 hybrid, drives it we sell him the car. He drives it for 2 weeks, and he goes, the drivetrain is shot. A new drivetrain is $45,000 on this car. Mind you, we sold him the car for $20K. So what happened? He bought it on BAT. He called us up, said, hey, you sold me the car. The drivetrain's no good. He had absolutely no case. It's as is, where is, right? And I shouldn't be advertising that we take back cars. But I told the guy, listen, totally understand. Apologize if this happened to you. obviously we had absolutely no idea there's a driving video and you're telling me now the car won't turn on. I told him, listen, we'll take it back. And he sent us the car back. We gave him his money back and we ate it because we're doing enough volume. We value customer reviews enough where it's like, for me, it's worth it saying, hey, we'll eat a loss here. We'll take it so we can do better on the next one.
That's a great story, not for you, but that's the way you treat people.
For him.
Well, exactly.
For him,
yeah. I mean, for buying a used car. Yeah. But that makes me ask another question, since you said ask anything, Mark. How do you vet vehicles when you're moving so many vehicles? Like, what is your process when you get a car in?
Great question. This is a tough question. This is a process that we refine and go through day by day, and we get better at every day. How do we go through a car? So we buy cars totally sight unseen. Like I said before, if you have a car, call us, tell us you have this classic car in the middle of nowhere. We'll buy it. We'll pay you. We ask you some questions about it. We'll get the best info we can, but we get those cars in. When we get a car in, the first thing we do is we paint meter the whole car. So we know if the paint's original. We check out. So that's like the first step. Beyond that, then we start the car up. We go through all the systems. So we're going AC, we're going sound system, we're going suspension, we're going through driving, we're going on all the things you can do. So we do all that. And then we do all our recon, which is massive. So every single car we get in, we probably spend about $2,000 on recon on cars that are on average, let's say 30 to 40 grand. So we're spending 5 to 10% of the car's value in recon. And that's between repairing wheels, paintless dent removal, bumpers repair, mechanical repair. Half the stuff I don't even get to write in our auctions because I'm like, we're just doing so many cars where it's like, if you're buying a car from us, I can almost assure you it's gone through some level of recon. We do so much recon that it's like, the guys who do recon live at our warehouse. Wow, like our wheel guys, our wheel guys there twice a week. And like our interior guys there 2 times a week. Our PDR guys there 3 times a week. The mechanics come to our shop to drop off the next car to pick up the next car. We don't call them and bring it to them anymore. They're just like, what's next?
Yeah. Well, that many cars,
it's just going through it. It's just going through, making sure everything that you sell, you can stand behind. And when you miss something, because I know we miss stuff, right? If you move 100 cars in a month, they're all cars from the 80s, 90s, and 2000s.
Yeah, something might slip by.
Forget something. You're talking about on a 2000s Benz, you have pneumatic door locks on every single door, on the trunks, on the suspension. You're talking about like 500 electronic components that work together properly. And so you miss stuff and then you just make it right? So you miss a rear window sunshade that doesn't go up and down on the passenger side. Shit, I really should have saw that. And yeah, so it's just, and then hopefully at some level, customers realize that like they're buying a car from the 90s, 2000s, and you're like, we'll do our best to make sure you love your car. But at the end of the day, just know like, hey, it's a car from the 90s and 2000s. There might be a quirk or two, but find a way to love that car. You know what I mean?
Yeah, well, that's the thing. Sometimes when people are buying used things, you just, go, this is used. This isn't brand new. So there's going to be a few things, but I understand.
It's crazier than that, man. It's crazier than that. I had a guy come in last week to buy a Lincoln Town Car, 2005.
Oh, wow.
Maybe a $17,000 car, right? With 10,000 miles on it. Really, really nice car. Guy dug into the door jambs, like under the trims, and like, here, there's dirt under here. Or like there's dirt inside the AC duct vent. And I'm like, if you bought a Bentley from a Bentley dealer 2024 and you went into the showroom and you paid $500,000 for your vehicle, there would still be dirt under the door seal. Yeah. So I'm like, you paid 17 grand for your car. Either you like it, you don't like it, but dirt under the door seals is to be expected in a 20-year-old car.
Yeah, that happens. So yeah. Well, you're dealing with an interesting market, so more power to you. But yeah, it's just amazing what you're doing. I think it's great. You're obviously a car guy. I mean, we know that about you by now. Is there one special car? I mean, you're a young guy too. I mean, you're very younger than my kids. Is there one special car that you've had in your life? And if so, tell me a story about it.
And my favorite cars of all time is the R230 SL. So Mercedes-Benz SL class, maybe R129 or R230. I got my passion for those cars from my dad. So my dad absolutely loves those older SLs. And he was always like, let's get one. But he never got one. And then I got into cars and now all I do is buy them. So I probably buy 200 R230 SLs a year.
Oh my gosh.
So I would say the SL65s are my favorite. So the V12 bi-turbo, making 603 horsepower and 738 pound-feet of torque.
Yeah.
For 30 grand.
No, yeah.
Like with a hardtop convertible and 30,000 miles, like that's a nuts value.
Yeah.
So those are my favorite cars. I think just people are scared of older Benzes, and there are repair bills that come with them, but get by the repair bills. They're the best value on the sports car market end all be all. There's nothing even comes close.
Yeah. I'll tell you, Joey. I've never been a Mercedes guy. I've always been a Porsche, BMW guy. But I had a friend. This was probably 15 years ago, maybe 20 years ago. It was when the big SL65s came out, and he was looking to buy a Mercedes, and I went with him just to kick the tires. And the salesman didn't have anything to do, and he goes, "Have you ever thought about an SL?" Because I was driving a 911 at the time, and I go, "I don't know. Those are kind of for old people." And he laughed, and he goes, "Let's go for a ride." He let me drive that thing, and I'll tell you something, and I'm still talking to this day. Maybe one day I'll have one. I didn't want to get out of that car when I was done driving it. It was insane. I mean, I was blown away. So I have a big smile on my face as you tell me that story. So maybe I'm old enough now. You think? Am I mature enough to handle something like that? Maybe I should
gotta
call
send you on your way. I have so many.
Well,
I have an auction live right now on Bring a Trailer. I have a '07 SL65 with 33,000 miles.
Oh my gosh! Wow.
Sold at Mecum for like 62. It's got no reserve. It will be done by the time this probably this airs because it only has a couple days left. But
yeah, wow.
Take a look at that. That's crazy.
Well, and those cars new were what? I mean, they were
200
back in those days.
Right around
yeah. I mean,
and
insane.
Early 2000.
Yeah. Well, I have a friend who's driving an SL55 that he's had for a long time, and he bought used, and same thing, and it just keeps going. Now he's very mechanically in mind, so he can do work on it because they are complicated cars and they can get expensive, but still pretty darn nice. I like it. So I'm going to call on your head here, Joey. I like to play car psychologist. Got a medical degree in car psychology. I printed it on my Macintosh computer, so it's real. If you were reincarnated as a vehicle, not what you want to be, though. That's too easy. This is how you perceive the man in the mirror. Dig down deep who you really are. What car would you be and why?
What car would I be and why?
Yeah.
You have to cut the first 30 seconds of this. What car would I be? What car would I be?
Yeah. What I tell people is to kind of think about how they perceive themselves. Now, some people, say, I'm a Ford F-150 pickup. I just go out and get it done, and I'm not flashy. Others deem themselves a Ferrari F1 car, and they feel pretty highly about themselves. But yeah, this is more about how the kind of person you are. If you think you're a super complicated person, maybe you are.
Yeah, I got you. I got you. It's definitely an SL65.
There you go. Okay.
It's nuts. I'll tell you why. Here, I'll give you how I perceive myself.
Okay.
I would say I'm harsh on the outside, super, super tough, not easy to love, right? I feel like the SL65s are not easy cars to love. But if you find a way to love them, they'll treat you well. You know what I mean?
Okay. Well, now see, that's an interesting way to describe yourself for a guy who sells used cars because, you got to be lovable to buy a used car from somebody that, you don't want to hate somebody that you buy a car from, but I can kind of tell you're what?
I'm just harsh.
You're harsh.
Data driven, focused. But listen, I genuinely mean well.
That's good.
That's the truth.
Okay. That you've redeemed yourself a little bit there. So I like that. So how about great reading? Is there a book you could share with us today?
Yes. I have one. Ready? I have to search it up because I would never get the name right. Ready?
You ready?
What are the odds you read this book? The book's about Sam Zamuri, and it's called The Fish That Ate the Whale, The Life and Times of America's Banana King. Now, it's a good book.
I have not read it. Interesting.
I'll send you a copy.
Okay, there you go. Who's the author of that book?
Who's the author of this book? Author's Rich Cohen.
I asked all my guests for this, and I tell my listeners there's a place on the Cars Yeah website called Guest Recommended Books where there's over 3,000 books listed there with a quick, easy click to buy from some guy named Jeff who has a website that sells books and other stuff. And that's an interesting one. And I don't think out of all the books recommended here on Cars Yeah that has ever been mentioned, which is pretty impressive considering there's been over 2,500 shows here.
And that's the only book I ever read.
Okay, well, then it's a good book you recommended. It comes recommended.
No, I'm joking. I like reading. I'm just joking.
There you go. I love it. All right.
It's a good book.
We'll add that. So let's go on the ultimate drive before I let you go today. Here's how this works. I will buy you any car in the world. Don't worry about the price. I'm footing the bill. You can take it on a drive anywhere in the world, but here's kind of the key deal because I always say that it's not about the cars, it's about the people around cars. You could take anybody with you, including somebody from the past that's no longer with us. So what does this ultimate drive look like for someone like you, Joey?
Okay, I got it. It's easy.
Okay.
I'm not driving. I'm a passenger.
Yeah.
And then one of my best friends growing up is the driver. Can I bring two people?
It's your drive. Yes.
Okay, I'm bringing my best friend from growing up who lost his dad, and his dad's in the back seat.
Oh, nice.
And he's driving. And he's driving a CGT, a Carrera GT. And I know there's no back seats on a CGT, but you're adding one.
Okay. All right. That's going to get pricey.
That's the drive.
Okay. And where are you guys driving? Where do you want to go?
Definitely some back roads. Tail of the Dragon sounds good.
Okay.
Anything that's windy fun. Where else would you drive a CGT? I feel like you got to go on a windy road, right?
Yeah, for sure. Very nice. I like it. Well, and that's helping out. Now, see, there's a little bit of your softer side, my friend. You're helping out a friend who lost is a woman who lost her dad?
No, it's my partner, my best bud. His name's Raphael.
Okay, Raphael. Okay.
And he lost his dad like when he was growing up. So it would be a very powerful drive.
Absolutely. I like it. Well, see, that shows the softer side of you of helping people out. So I like that. Joey, you have taken us on a wonderful ride today, and I wondered if you could leave us with some parting words of wisdom, maybe a mantra, a success quote, or something that has great meaning to you.
Yeah, I would say work hard and then work harder. I feel like I don't feel like it's a quoted success, but people don't say it enough. But the key to success in whatever you're doing, like you've done it, like you did 2,500 podcasts, right?
Yeah,
so
crazy.
I feel like people just don't say it enough. Like there is no secret to like doing well. Mm-hmm. It's just putting your head in the sand and like just going until you succeed. I don't think there's like, oh, if you do this, this, and this, and you wake up at the right time, you'll win. You know what I mean?
I understand. Yep. It's all about it. Put your head down and keep fighting. Very nice. Work hard and then work harder. I love it. How can people learn more about Collectible Classics?
Yeah, absolutely. You can check us out on our website, collectibleclassics.com, or on our Instagram, which is Collectible Classics Cars. And then you can also check us out on Bring a Trailer at Collectible Classics. Any of those three would be awesome places to check us out. So if you want to buy a car, check us out on Collectible Classics. And if you want to reach out to us, give us a call, text 267-315-3173.
There you go. I'll put all these links. Yeah, absolutely. I'll put all these links on Joey Stoner's page, but they're very easy to find. Just go on your favorite search engine, Collectible Classics. They'll pop right up. Check them out. You're looking for a cool car. Chances are Joey's got one for you for sure. I want to do a shout out. Thank you to a colleague of yours, Kelsey, who put us together today. So Kelsey, thank you very much for making this happen with Joey today. Great guest. Joey, thank you for being so generous today with your time and your expertise and sharing this incredible business you built at a very young age. My hat's off to you, young man. Until you and I talk again, I'll see you maybe in an SL 65 or 55 down the road.
Thanks.
You're welcome.
Thank you so much for joining us on today's ride here at Cars Yeah. Drive on over to carsyeah.com to find show notes and inspiring automotive fun. Download your free copy of Filler Up, a fun book filled with gorgeous photographs of fuel filler fun, including quotes from more inspiring automotive enthusiasts. Download your copy today, and we'll see you next time on Cars Yeah.